Hey everybody, it's Gigi here from Kale and Bananas, and today I'm talking about something that I think a lot of people care about and a lot of people worry about. When you hear the word carbs, a lot of diets scream, no, you can't have this, you can't have that. Absolutely not. This isn't a part of our diet. We're a low-carb diet. Listen, I went through this. This is something that personally I struggled with and still struggle with now. How much carbs should I eat? How much protein? How much fat? It's a balance. We talk about, like as a vegan, we talk about when you transition to the vegan lifestyle, you're cutting out certain foods and adding in new things to replace them. And that's the key, replacement. When you cut out foods, you're leaving this empty section for what? You're going to binge, you're going to eat garbage, you're going to eat too much fat, maybe too much protein. Everybody is different. Every body is different. And by trying to put everyone into like a one-size-fits-all sort of diet, it's just not going to work. It's not okay. The 300-pound 40-year-old man is not the same as the 115-pound 17-year-old girl. It's just a fact. And everyone's different, and everybody's body responds differently to different foods. And by cutting out carbs, first of all, that's the body's main energy source, so you cannot cut out carbs. And we talk about the health foods, fruits and vegetables, and those are literally nothing but carbs. So when people say I'm on a low carb or a no carb diet, they're lying, because that would mean that they're eating nothing except for probably like steak and chicken, which I don't know if you can even do that safely. And the other thing is, if you're a runner, if you're working out, you need carbs in your body. By not having carbs, you are starving your body. Like, yes, your body will burn fat, but there's nothing to keep you energized through the day. You will literally be a walking zombie. So my opinion now, after struggling with carbs and trying to cut out carbs and cutting out bread, pasta, anything that had more than 15 grams of carb, I would freak out. And after struggling with that and feeling these, like, just my energy would go down. As soon as I woke up, I thought I'd be okay, and 11 a.m. I would crash, 10 a.m. crash. Before a workout, I would be feeling weak. After a workout, I'd feel even worse, and I'd want to binge. And that's the problem. Carbs are good for you. Carbs aren't bad for you. There are bad carbs. Like, a potato is not the same thing as a soda. They both have carbs, but sugar is a carb. And you have different kinds of carbs, and you have simple and complex carbs. Complex carbs take a long time to burn and long-term energy. Good for you. A potato is one of them. I don't know why everyone says potatoes are bad for you. They're not. We make them bad when we put them in French fries and when we flash fry them and when we cover them in oil and cheese and bacon and things. Like, that's when it's unhealthy. Or if you make chili cheese fries or whatever it is you're doing, like mashed potatoes. Those are the unhealthy versions. A baked potato, like, that's not bad for you. It's a good carb. It's a good source of complex carbs to keep you energized for the day. I know there's this restaurant that my family goes to, my mom and I, right after school sometimes, and I get a baked potato, and I get it with just chives and our green onions. The one from Wendy's has chives. But it also comes with sour cream, so that's not good for you and not vegan anyway. But the point being that whenever I have this baked potato, it keeps me energized through my whole workout. I work with horses, and I'm there for 5-6 hours. Sometimes we go through and we feed all the horses, we bring horses in and out from the fields, etc. And I'm working for 6 hours, and it keeps me energized until I get home and can make myself something for dinner. And the thing is, like, you should never cut out foods that you love, because then you'll just binge on them later. Or worse, you're cutting out something that's important. Like, I know a lot of people that love potatoes and they love bread. And you don't have to get rid of bread. You have to get rid of the white bread, the Italian bread, the bread that has all kind of crap all over it. Get whole wheat bread. Get nice, like, thin slices of whole wheat bread. And you can have that in the morning with, whatever you're making, with my tofu scramble, with your eggs, whatever it is, if you're not vegan. Like, that's not a bad thing. Whole wheat bread's not bad for you. Whole wheat pasta, like, it's about portion control. And you have to remember that, like, bread isn't a natural carb. Like, bread isn't in nature. but you can still have it and just not excessively. And it's all about like sustainability, and if you can do this your whole life. When people hear the word diet, they freak out because they're like, oh my god, diet, I'm so restricted, no, I can't go out to dinner, no, I can't do that, I have to meal plan, I have no time for myself, blah blah blah, I don't have time for a diet, I can't work out, many excuses. But like, the word diet used to just mean like healthy eating, and that's why when I talk about being vegan, I talk about it as the vegan lifestyle. It's not a vegan diet. I'm not just doing this to lose weight or whatever. Like, this is something I want to do forever. And you have to do something that's sustainable for yourself. So if you have a 40-page list or 40-item list of things that you cannot eat and places you cannot go, and you're meal planning and you're like, you have this crazy thing, that's going to last you a month, maybe 2 months if you're really persistent, like 6 months if you're really trying. But that's not something you can do for the rest of your life. And you should never cut out foods, but you should replace them with something healthier or eat them in moderation. And carbs are good for you. Carbs keep you powered, and there's whole grains like rice, brown rice, good for you. There's a big difference between a bowl of steamed brown rice and a bowl of fried rice covered in soy sauce and with eggs and butter from the Japanese restaurants. Like, very different things. And then, there's a big difference between the white bread, the white refined sugar bread that is, 110 calories a slice, and the 80-calorie whole wheat bread. What else? Like, obviously, just because it says whole wheat doesn't mean it's good for you. You can have whole wheat blueberry muffins that are 230 calories a piece that are loaded with sugar. And I think that when people say they're trying to avoid carbs, I think that it's a misconception. I think that what we're all trying to say is that we're trying to cut back on added sugars and garbage like that. If the first ingredient is high fructose corn syrup or white sugar, like cane sugar, put it back. You don't need it, I promise. Usually those little snack packs or 100-calorie packs, like things that come out of a can or a plastic, like a little bag, or can last 10 years on the shelf, are not good for you. We all know this. Like, that's what you should be cutting out. Get rid of the chips. Replace your chips with crunchy veggies like celery and carrots. That's what I do. I sit there and eat those. I eat edamame like popcorn. And guess what? All those things, they have carbs. Edamame has a lot of protein too, but those are carbohydrate foods, and that's way different from the bag of chips that's pure carbs, but a lot of fat too. It's all about balance. Like, your body generally requires 45 to 55% carbs. If you're a long distance runner, probably more. But by replacing carbs and getting rid of them, what are you replacing them with? Like, you're replacing them with fruits and vegetables, most likely, which are also carbs. So when people talk about low carb and being afraid of carbs and things, don't be afraid of carbs. That's what I've learned. Like, I was on this high protein diet that I had arranged for myself, and I was trying to figure it out, and I wasn't feeling very strong, and I was not like performing as well as I wanted to, and I was thinking, okay, well, my body's adjusting, and it did adjust. And at the end of the month, it was the month of May, actually, it just ended, I was kind of struggling with it because it was a lot of protein. And as a vegan, I was, you can get a normal amount of protein as a vegan just fine, but when you're really upping it, I'm talking like 160 grams a day. I was doing these protein shakes just constantly and worrying and stressing. And now that I'm 4 days into being away, like I stopped it on the 25th or 26th, but I started eating more carbs. I put bread back into my diet, whole wheat bread, and I have these whole wheat tortillas. I made some tacos yesterday, and those little tortilla pizzas that are on the channel. Now that I'm incorporating those kind of carbs again, and I had some potatoes, and I didn't feel bad about it, I started feeling stronger again, and my body is responding so much better. Like, I wake up and I feel refreshed, not weak. And I've been sleeping better these past couple days. Summer vacation just started, so maybe that's why, but also I just think I feel better. In my workout on Tuesday that I had with Jason, I felt so much stronger and so much better, like more in control than I did the previous week. And the whole thing is that it's not black and white. Like, the whole what should I eat, what should I not eat, it's not a black and white thing, and we all try to make it that way. Like, I would love to say that here's this perfect plan that's a one-size-fits-all for everyone, but that's just not the case. You need to learn to listen to your body your body will respond to different things. Cut out, I promise you, if you cut out the refined sugar, if you cut out the garbage, get rid of the creamer in your coffee in the morning, replace it with something else. Have tea if you like tea. Have tea with lemon and agave, or lemon and honey if you do honey, or just lemon. Get rid of the the not natural sweeteners. If you're looking for something like sweet to eat, have an apple, have a banana with peanut butter, have fruit, have dates. If you want to sweeten your smoothies, put in dates. If you want to put in almond milk or something, get the unsweetened kind. Get things that don't have added sugar. Make your own. That's literally the best way to make sure that you know what's going in your food. Making your own, make your own almond milk. It's not hard. Cashew milk too. If you make it yourself, you just don't add the sugar. Use maple syrup as a sweetener. Yes, it's still a sugar, but it's better than the refined cane sugar that isn't really natural at all. And I just think that there's little things you can do to change how you eat, little lifestyle things. And if you like your chips or you like popcorn, replace it with vegetables and edamame and things that you would like. Even veggie chips, or make your own dehydrated chips. Kale chips, another good one. If you're looking for something sweet, have fruit instead. It's natural sugar. That's real food right there. And make your plate, half of it, make it grains, and then 25% vegetables, 25% protein. Have the rice, have some potatoes, have a piece of bread. It's okay. If you are working, if you're counting your calories, or you're counting your macros, or both, if you're looking and making sure you're not getting those added sugars, getting good carbs, that you have good energy, you're listening to your body, and getting a sufficient amount of protein, hitting those vitamins, that's what you need to worry about. You need to worry about vitamins and macros and feeling good. Don't stress about carbs. If you have white rice or a piece of white bread, it's okay. That's not going to throw off your diet, I promise you. Just not all the time. Don't have 10 slices of white bread. Don't have 8 cups of white rice. You know what I mean? You have to find a balance. And your body, as Americans, we eat these huge portions. What should be a portion size this big, we have this big, and then you have stuff to take home for later. And the portion sizes are so huge. And make the portion sizes something that eat slower. Chew your food really well. Have your body actually have it connect to your brain that, okay, wait, I'm eating, and now I'm full. I do not need to eat this whole thing and then feel bloated when I get up. I feel like I'm stretching my jeans out, that kind of thing. That's not what your body wants. That's not how you're supposed to feel. It's struggling to keep up with our eating habits and all these chemicals and crap we're putting in our bodies. So do yourself a favor, do your body a favor, do your mind, everything a favor. And stop stressing about carbs. Stress helps you gain weight. So if you're just drop the stress and start consciously thinking about what you're eating, about whole grains and whole wheat and smaller portion sizes. Do you feel good about what you're eating? After you eat it, do you feel good? When you wake up in the morning, do you feel energized? Or do you feel weak? Are you doing too much of something, not enough? Find that balance that suits you, and it takes time. It's not overnight. It's not a week. It could take a month. It could take 2 months. It could take a year. And you have to just do slow things and progress until you figure out exactly where you are and where you want to be. Set goals for yourself and get there. Everyone can. I know you can. You don't need a fancy diet plan. You don't need to cut carbs. You don't need a low carb or a low fat or high carb, low fat, or a raw vegan. You don't need paleo. You don't need Atkins. You don't need Weight Watchers. You don't need Jenny Craig, any of that stuff. That's literally everything. I don't want to say is a scam, but everything is marketed somewhere or another that it'll be a short-term result, and eventually, as soon as you're off that plan, it's gone, and you start gaining the weight back. These calorie diets where you eat 500 one day, 2,000 the next, 200 one day, 5,000 the next, all that crazy imbalance is so bad for your body. It's detrimental to your health. Do not do that to yourself. The way that people maintained healthy weights throughout history was just by eating smaller portion sizes and eating natural foods. Our ancestors did not have to worry about processed foods and about garbage and about preservatives and things. But now that we're in this day and age where they're almost in everything, we have to be conscious and aware and eat things that are good for us and make our body feel good. And I promise, if you do this for a month, start feeling better. You're going to feel cleaner. Everything's going to be working better. You're going to have better digestion. You're just going to feel cleaner, your skin's gonna be clearer, you're literally gonna be glowing. And your workouts are gonna be better, you're gonna be feeling stronger and fresher than ever and younger than ever, just by eating real natural foods like from nature, and not stressing out about carbs. Like a potato is good for you, just not 10 of them. Oh shit. White bread, all that refined stuff, not good for you. Added sugar, not good for you. Eat natural foods. Eat things that make your body feel good and make you feel good about eating them. And once you hit that point, you're never going to go back. I promise you're going to be at that point where it's so easy that it's not hard anymore. Like you're going to be okay, and I promise you, carbs are not the devil. I just kind of went on a little bit of a rant about diets. Sorry about that. But the whole point of this video is for me to tell you that carbs are not bad. There's certain kind of carbs that aren't bad, or that are bad. And there's some that you could just eat in moderation. You should never eat too much of one thing and not enough of another. It's all a balance. And I'll include some links below about low carb and high carb and all that kind of stuff, and why carbs are good for you. And if you guys have any questions, or if you have any suggestions, or if you want to talk about carbs or about your struggles and things, I know, trust me, I've been struggling and I've been trying to figure out a solution. There's no quick solution, I promise. Because I would have found it by now. And there's only one solution, and it's to make it a long-term commitment to yourself. Make a commitment to yourself. It's not selfish to say, I want to do this for me. You can only be your best self when you are your healthiest, and I wholeheartedly believe that. So if you guys ever want to talk about it, please comment below. You can send me a message on there. We can talk about it. If you have any questions, same thing. Or if you want to see any more articles or have any articles that you'd like me to read, I'd love to. I'm always open to that kind of stuff. And please hit that subscribe, like this video, share it wherever you want, Facebook, Twitter, I don't know, you guys do whatever you want with it. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.